Hey everyone, Charting Man Dan here at The Chart Guys. We're going to check in on the crypto space. I just tried to do a live stream. Apologies to those of you who attempted to join in, but we're going to record it here. So, we're going to look at the broader market. We're going to look at the news with Kraken and the SEC and the impact on crypto. We're going to talk about crypto stocks and what I'm watching for if the bears are going to prove follow through to us. So first things first, we have the NASDAQ confirming the daily downtrend, and that's important because that's the first time that's happened in over 5 weeks. It's a weekly inside bar. And if we break the low of this week, first thing next week, weekly consolidation will be underway. And the first thing I'm going to be watching is what is the reaction to weekly EMA support? Do we hold it as support? And that's going to be key on Bitcoin as well. Does Bitcoin hold weekly EMA 12 support on this back test? Because we rejected from it a whole bunch of times on the way down and while we were trying to bounce. So if this retracement is going to remain healthy for the bulls, they've got to hold that EMA backtest and then see continuation to try and follow through on this bounce. If we retrace 50% plus of this bounce and lose the EMA support, then we're going to be looking for a potential tightening range to form. So the magnitude of the consolidation using our fib retracements with Alt-F on TradingView here is going to be key. And you can see that 12 period EMA next week is going to be up just above the 50% retracement. So something we're keeping an eye on. So we look at the Kraken news. SEC reaches 30 million settlement with Kraken, and they say you can no longer do staking. She's pretty pumped about it. So honestly, I look at the charts, I look at the NASDAQ daily chart, and I look at the Bitcoin daily chart, and I don't see news at all. Yes, there was a volume spike, but that volume spike was anticipated. As we were talking about, there was a wall of supports all within a couple $100 of each other. And if one breaks, then the other's going to break, and then the other's going to break because they trigger stop losses. And so that's what the volume spike is, in my opinion. And even with that, it was less than the 20-day average, at least on Coinbase. So, did it have an impact? Yeah, some people clicked the sell button because there were red numbers out there, and there's a headline to give them a reason to. But again, if you put me in a vacuum, I would have no idea that there was any news by looking at just the charts alone. So could this have implications? Absolutely something you want to be paying attention to. Is the US government going to go after crypto now and all these exchanges? I don't think it's going to be that significant, but I have absolutely no idea. I know that any assets that I have in crypto, I'm willing to have go to zero because no, the US government cannot shut down Bitcoin, and it cannot shut down decentralized exchanges. But if they decide that they're going to fight Bitcoin and crypto and exchanges, the prices are going to drop significantly. We know that. So it is something that we want to be paying attention to. But on the flip side of the coin, that it's also a potential benefit, where if we get more regulation, then that leads to more money getting involved. So it can go either way, but I'm sticking with the charts, is what it always boils down to. So the dollar is going to be key from here. This is one major aspect. Can the dollar bulls confirm the first daily uptrend in over 4 months? It looks like a healthy backtest of EMA support. And this is what the Bitcoin bulls want the weekly chart to look like. Hold the backtest of EMA and then see continuation. This is the dollar's daily chart. If the bulls break 103.96, that likely means that the NASDAQ and the S&P 500 are seeing weekly consolidation. And when you look at Bitcoin, we say, yeah, Bitcoin's weekly consolidation is underway, but we just have to remind ourselves the broader market has not started weekly consolidation. It's still a 6-week stair-step pattern, higher low every week. So that helps remind us that we can definitely see, a bit further downside in crypto while the broader market is pulling back into weekly consolidation, if it pulls back into weekly consolidation. So, and then from there on the dollar, we'll zoom out and we'll watch weekly EMA 12. And again, it's something I've been talking about a whole bunch over the last month or two. We know the dollar is going to see a monthly bounce eventually. And then we're going to be watching for a monthly lower high. But on that monthly bounce is when I'm going to be looking to go long some more things, whether it's my IRA, whether it's longer term swing positions in crypto. I'm going to be trying to time my longs in some assets, maybe even gold. Gold's going to be looking for a monthly higher low with a lot of space for it to form for a tightening range. So I'm going to be looking to try and recognize the dollar. Again, we still have to see the monthly bounce first, but I'm going to be looking to recognize the dollar monthly lower high and looking to time some long entries with more of a swing trade mindset in these different asset classes. So that's something I'm watching perhaps into mid 2023. Just thinking bigger picture, always thinking bigger picture, and not going to be surprised when the most likely longer term scenario takes place just because I wasn't looking on the longer term time frame. Crypto stocks definitely still weak. When we were last doing the live stream 2 days ago, it was when I was shorting Riot right here and didn't get my ideal second fill because of that live stream, but that's okay. Ended up swinging a position, and then I was away from the computer midday yesterday, and a trailing stop unfortunately knocked me out right there. So definitely left some meat on the bone, but a really nice short there. And that's the way that I've been trading crypto bearish, with no viable options in the US as far as trusted exchanges where I can short. I just short the stocks for 0 fees. So Riot confirmed the daily downtrend. Weekly consolidation is underway. And now the question is, these names that have bounced hundreds of % off their lows, can they confirm weekly uptrends to solidify the longer term bounce? Because we bounced 150% last time and we never confirmed the weekly uptrend, and we just gave it all back. So is that going to happen again? Or is this time different? We're going to be looking for clues. One more aspect, I talked about this in the live stream before it got cut off, is bulls in the broader stock market want to see rotation. The healthcare sector is an important sector. It's one of the largest holdings in the S&P 500, and over the last 5 weeks, it's been consolidating. More than that, but in the last 6 weeks, clear pullback. QQQ has been going up. So that shows rotation. That shows me money leaving healthcare to go into big tech. And so the question is, when big tech consolidates on the weekly, is healthcare going to see a weekly bounce? If that happens, that is a sign of healthy consolidation in the stock market. That would be showing us rotation, as opposed to everybody running for the exit, all sectors dropping together, and there being some fear and showing money leaving the market as opposed to just money moving around in the market. And you see that in crypto as well, where even on this big pullback, things were all weak, but there's still a bunch of green out there, obviously after red yesterday, but there are names that are still holding on well. I mean, Matic is still a daily uptrend. We'll look at that in just a moment, but Matic's still a daily uptrend. So we're not seeing a race out of crypto, and we're not seeing a race out of the market. But again, it's a day-to-day observation that I'm making to watch for any clues and any signs of that kind of fear. And there aren't any right now. Looking at the 4-hour time frame, Bitcoin's oversold. Again, we're not seeing a back burner anymore. We've already used that up. So the only back burner left at this point would be first daily oversold conditions, which if we're going to see first daily oversold conditions, that's a red flag, because that means the retracement size is going to be more than the bulls would like to see on this weekly pullback. And so a bull really wants to not head to oversold conditions on the daily time frame. But pick a time frame for clarity. We got an hourly downtrend, very clear lower highs. The 12-hour, we know we're going to be scouting lower highs as the result of next bounce. We are hitting first 12-hour oversold conditions at the low of this drop. So bears have full short-term control now. And you might be getting itchy to buy here, but we just have to remind ourselves, bulls had complete control and ran the show for over 5 weeks. This is the first sign the bears have done anything meaningful in the last 5 weeks. So give them some space, back off. Give them some space to show us what they got. And if they don't have much, then we can look to make long entries playing off of a nearby support level that gets established on this consolidation. But right now, there is no indication that this consolidation is coming to an end at this point. So in no rush to be looking long. If we get a 12-hour bounce up to 23,000, then I'd say, okay, that's notable. I'm scouting a 12-hour high or low, and I then have a level to be using off of as a stop. But, if we bear flag on the 12-hour and then markets open with some weakness next week, then we can definitely keep pulling back a bit. But the next major level that I do care about is the EMA back test on the weekly time frame. ETH, daily rising wedge breaking bear. It was a little bit tricky because we had a bunch of 12-hour and daily bearish patterns, head and shoulders, and rising wedges that confirmed a week ago with little follow through. Some of them confirmed, some of them negated. And so now we had, well, here goes another one. And this one, of course, confirms. And there were a lot of double tops in altcoins. Ethereum failed to break the high here by 1%. There's a bunch of altcoins that double topped, OP double topped, Mana double topped, and then they rolled over and lost the daily uptrend. So notable break. 1500 is support, a little base here. That's the lowest level of consolidation we've seen since the big move up. And it's the same thing. What's the weekly retracement size going to be? Can the bulls hold the EMA back test of support to try and be a bull flag, or is the consolidation going to be more significant? ETHBTC, we're watching the 2-week time frame, and essentially, is this going to be a higher low in this equilibrium, which continues to tighten up? And we have to see, really that'd be on the 2-day time frame, looking for a 2-week higher low. So we've got to confirm the 2-day uptrend on ETHBTC if the 2-week higher low is going to be set. I'm not really caring about this pattern on a day-to-day basis, but when it breaks, it will absolutely be significant and meaningful as far as whether it's worthwhile to be watching Bitcoin as a bull and Ethereum is weaker, or Ethereum is a bull and Bitcoin is weaker. Essentially knowing which name do I want to look long on and which name do I want to look short on. OP, so another beautiful example of a lead bull going to a lead bear, and APT set the stage. And we've seen this multiple times when we have these cycles where there'll be a couple of names that run together and then they take turns almost. But APT was our lead bull, and we saw it turn into a lead bear, starting, a daily downtrend long before everybody else. We've been consolidating at this point, again, after the double top. Pretty much the double top and break of 1662 was the first sign of the loss of momentum. Because what happened here was this, which is technically, a downtrend, a rejection from resistance, and a loss of the daily uptrend. And it's been all bears since then. And yes, we're going to look for a weekly higher low in APT, but that consolidation can be significant. The harder you run up without establishing supports, the more you're likely going to pull back on that consolidation. So we saw APT lead the way and enter the lead bear scenario after that. And so we just looked at OP and said, well, now OP was the lead after APT topped out, and then it double topped and then broke the daily high, the same exact topping pattern. We double topped and then lost the higher low on a bull flag attempt. And now it's turning into a lead bear. So going from a lead bull to a lead bear. And again, there are, bulls that are watching for bounce plays. Just be nimble. Have not hit 12-hour oversold yet. You can see we hit 4-hour oversold conditions and it didn't result in a bounce. That's a little bit of a red flag. Potentially a rising, or I should say a falling wedge type of pattern in the short term here. This is how I would have drawn it. So no real clear break yet, but if we get over 246, then a 4-hour bounce is clearly underway. But again, just being, just bulls have their time to shine. And yes, there's going to be bounces on the way down, but it's also take a step back and let the bears do their thing. They've been waiting for 5 weeks. They finally proved something to us. So giving them some space. Matic, like we said, is a lead bull. If the daily EMA 12 and the daily uptrend remains intact, it stays a lead bull. So anything above 117 is a daily high or low. It's currently a daily inside bar. Watching per potential, 4-hour lower high here. And the bulls would have to confirm a 4-hour uptrend for a daily higher low to be set. We could say the Matic bulls are positioned well if Bitcoin bounces, but you can also be looking at Matic and saying, okay, well, I'm going to be looking for this lead bull to be a laggard bear. And we've seen that in stocks the last 2 days. 2 days ago, the market pullback started, and Tesla and NVDA remained lead bulls, and they held on really strong. And we looked for those names this morning to become laggard bears, and they both are down very significantly today. So yesterday, there were a ton of names down more than Tesla and NVDA, and today, Tesla and NVDA are both down 5-6%, and they're down multiple times more than the names that were weaker yesterday. So it was a perfect example of lead bulls turning into laggard bears. And so a Matic aggressive bear is going to be looking for the same thing. And we need to see Matic BTC give us signs of a top being set, which it's not doing just yet. We can have a clear 4-hour uptrend guide. And if there's a bull that wants to be protective of profit, losing that 4-hour uptrend or losing the daily higher lows could be the first indication of taking some profit off the table. So other names out there, Let's just do a quick rundown. We did those two. Link had a big fake out. The bull break with 0 follow through. Now testing daily support. So real hard drop there. Whole bunch of volatility. And again, for the most part, we just got a whole bunch of weekly consolidation underway. And we're going to be scouting those weekly higher lows. But just nice losses of the daily uptrend, loss of EMA 12 for the first time, and follow through for the bears. Again, it was due, it was inevitable. We knew it was going to happen. I thought it was going to happen a week ago, and the bulls stayed resilient. But overall, not really. Sand is still trying to hold a base of support on the daily. So Sand and Link still have some daily supports. Matic still in an uptrend. But for the most part, the vast majority of things are in daily downtrends. They're seeing weekly consolidation, and it's a question of how much weekly consolidation are we going to see before a weekly higher low is set. The first indication of a weekly higher low being set, we can use the 12-hour trend. A 12-hour uptrend confirming would be a potential first signal. That would be an attempt at an early signal, because we know normally it's the daily time frame that signals it. But that's about it. That's the checkup here. Apologies for the live stream again. Don't know what was up with my internet, but we'll do it the old-fashioned way. Appreciate the likes and the shares and the comments. And I hope you have a great weekend. We will see you soon. I'm going to do an AI stock video later today. And I hope you have a great rest of your Friday. Do good things.